upside of the NBA was, I mean, I was working in Secaucus, New Jersey. I was working above the replay center, and then sometimes in Manhattan and at that office. So I mean, you can imagine the salaries. And
But it was like your heart and your mind just weren't.
no, I
You
knew that
couldn't.
it was like no matter what it was. I mean, they could offer me, $10 million, but at that point, it was just like this is crazy. Because I mean, my going back to like me and my wife, I mean, the whole female and male sports thing. My wife was a Division II starter who only played 3 years worth of games because she tore her ACL twice, and she still almost had 1,000 points. I was Joe Schmo bench warmer, end of the bench at a Division II level. But if me and her play 1-on-1, like I'm gonna win because I'm 6'1" and she's 5'3" and I have muscle mass and bone density and everything like that. And I'm like, to allow, and I'm at the time at the time that this came out, I have two little girls at home. I'm like, you're gonna erase sports for them. They're not gonna be able to
Yeah.
compete. Like that's ridiculous. Well, anyway, so I left the NBA, and this goes back to the original question of my first nonprofit that I started. I said, how am I going to make money for my family? We just bought a house. My wife is pregnant with our third kid. We just got a giant dog. I'm like, what am I going to do? Well, my degree is in international economics, hence why I got the job at the NBA. My degree is in international economics, good at managing money, all that good stuff. And the NBA obviously was international company and global company. So I was like, well, I'll go back to my roots from college. I'm going to start playing the stock market. I was always kind of good at it, and I go back to it, but I want to make sure that I have like my ducks in a row. Like my conversion to Christianity has like really taken root in me, and I want to make sure that I'm doing things the right way. And so I've read in the past about like speculation and how that was kind of frowned upon and blah blah blah. So I go and I think that, all right, well, I'll start this organization, my little nonprofit called Christ Center Capital. And what I'm going to do is every single week I'm going to take whatever I created like this little um, algorithm or pathway where I was getting all the highest recommended stocks and ETFs of the week from all the major outlets, right? I was taking all the stocks, ETFs that were very highly recommended, and I was running them through like an ethical framework. Like, does this agree with, Christian ethics and values, or does it not? So I was literally taking what the market was recommending to buy, putting it together in a newsletter and on a website, and telling people like, hey, this is being highly recommended to buy, but they do this, that, and the other thing that doesn't agree with the faith, and this one is being highly recommended to buy, but it is not counter to the faith. And I was putting it out there, and I was charging like $7 to get access to this. It was like really cheap, but it grew. It grew to the point where it was going to be it was going to be substantial enough to where I could support my family. When it got to the point where it was substantial enough to support my family, I had this guy that I got connected with. His name is Jacob Imam. He runs an organization called New Polity out in Ohio, and really really smart guy. And me and him started arguing with each other because he was a Catholic like me, and he was saying how all speculation is against the Christian faith. And I was disagreeing with him, and I'm like, no, some is okay as long as it's not, participating in this, participating in that. Well, long story short, I lost that argument. And even though I left the NBA, so I cut off NBA, can't make money from that for my family. Then I create this business and put my kind of savings into it and build it up, and I have enough substantial means to support my family again. And now I'm like, I gotta nix this as well. So I convert Christ Center Capital from a for-profit business where I'm, giving these like stock quote unquote recommendations and everything to a philosophy site on the Christian faith and how it should interact with money and global finance. And people were actually really excited about it, and like they loved reading the newsletter and the essays I was writing and kind of following me along on that journey. But like, I'm not charging money for this now anymore. This is just like essays that I'm putting out for fun. So I go back to my wife. Now we have 3 kids and everything, and fourth kid is actually on the way at this point. And I'm like, I have no idea how we're gonna because she can't go and work. She's taking care of 4 little kids, and 3 of them are in diapers at the moment. I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna make money for our family. And I'm like, I really like doing the C3. And I was getting speaking engagements to go and talk because people were interested about my perspective on like what the stock market is and why it's probably counter to the Christian ethos and everything like that. And but it wasn't like making money to, put food on the table. Well, I get a call from this parish and they just knew of me for one reason or another. And they're like, hey, we need a bookkeeper. Do you know of anybody? And they didn't even offer me the job. They just said, do you know of anybody? And I didn't even want the job because I'm like, bookkeeper. I'm picturing like a little old lady in her spare time, like, doing it. And I was like, I don't really know of anybody, but how much help do you need? Like, let me know a little bit more about it. Well, it turns out this parish that I called, they're actually one of the biggest in the Allentown diocese. They have like at the time they had like 14 different properties that had just been assumed by them. And I was like, all right, I can help you guys out while you find someone. But they ended up, so I started working for them as like a part-time gig just to kind of make ends meet or whatever. And it turns out that the snowball effect was already in motion.